In a small, picturesque town nestled between rolling hills and a serene lake, there lived a landowner named Alex. For years, Alex had cherished the sprawling piece of land passed down through generations. With its lush greenery and breathtaking views, the property was not just a financial investment, it was a part of Alex's heritage, a place filled with childhood memories and dreams for the future. As the town began to grow and evolve, an idea struck Alex: why not develop the land into a community that could benefit both future residents and preserve the beauty of the area? After much contemplation, Alex decided to partner with a well-known homeowners association, or HOA, which promised to build condos that would enhance the neighborhood while providing modern amenities that attracted potential buyers. The vision was simple yet profound, a harmonious blend of nature and community living. The initial meetings with the HOA representatives were filled with excitement. They painted a picture of vibrant lifestyles complete with shared pools, walking trails, and community events that would foster friendships among residents. Alex felt reassured by their professionalism and commitment to maintaining high standards for the property. They discussed landscaping plans, condo designs, and even how they would protect the natural surroundings that made the area so special. However, buried within the lengthy HOA agreement were several clauses that would later prove to be pivotal in this unfolding story. Eager to see the project come to life and perhaps blinded by optimism, Alex skimmed through the legal jargon without fully grasping its implications. The promise of community living overshadowed any concerns about potential pitfalls. As construction began, excitement filled the air. Neighbors watched as heavy machinery rolled onto the site, transforming the land into what many hoped would become a thriving neighborhood. Yet underneath this enthusiasm lay an undercurrent of anxiety, questions about what this change meant for existing properties and how it would affect local wildlife began to surface. Despite these concerns, Alex believed in the vision and anticipated that once completed, these condos would not only provide homes for families but also elevate property values in the area. The HOA assured everyone that strict regulations would prevent any unsightly developments or violations of community standards. But as months went by and construction progressed, subtle signs began to emerge. Some residents raised eyebrows at certain decisions made by the HOA regarding landscaping choices and maintenance fees that seemed unusually high. Conversations around town hinted at unease among neighbors who felt their opinions were ignored in favor of profit-driven decisions. Little did Alex know that just beneath the surface of the seemingly idyllic development lay a secret legal trap within the HOA agreement, one that would transform this dream into a nightmare. What started as an opportunity to create a vibrant community would soon unravel into a complex web of legal challenges and revelations that no one could have predicted. As we delve deeper into the story, we will uncover how these hidden pitfalls came to light and how they challenged everything Alex believed about homeownership and community alliances. The journey ahead will reveal not only personal struggles but also broader implications about trust in agreements designed to foster harmony in neighborhoods. As the excitement of construction unfolded, Alex revisited the Homeowners Association Agreement, a lengthy document filled with legal terminology and binding clauses. Initially, it seemed like a mere formality. After all, everyone was on board with the vision of creating a beautiful community. However, upon closer inspection, some details began to raise eyebrows. The agreement outlined several key responsibilities that fell squarely on the shoulders of the condo owners, but it also contained provisions that would later reveal themselves as serious pitfalls. One clause stipulated that all maintenance costs for common areas would be shared among condo owners, potentially leading to hefty fees that could escalate unexpectedly. At first glance, this sounded reasonable, but Alex began to wonder about the HOA's control over these costs and the transparency with which they would be managed. Another critical aspect of the agreement was the restrictive covenants that dictated how properties could be used and modified. While they were designed to maintain aesthetic appeal and property values, some of these restrictions felt overly stringent. For instance, any modifications to individual units, from landscaping to exterior paint colors, required prior approval from the HOA board. This meant that even minor changes would be subject to their discretion, limiting personal expression and ownership. Perhaps more concerning was a clause buried deep within the document that granted the HOA significant authority over decision-making processes. The board had the power to levy fines for perceived violations and implement special assessments without requiring unanimous consent from all owners. This meant that a majority could impose financial burdens on everyone without considering individual circumstances. As Alex read through the section, a sense of foreboding began to settle in. Additionally, there were stipulations regarding property resale. The HOA retained the right of first refusal when an owner decided to sell their unit. This could potentially delay sales and limit market options for homeowners who wish to move on. The implications of being tied down by such restrictions began to weigh heavily on Alex's mind. What if someone wanted to relocate due to job opportunities or family changes? Would they be stuck in a situation where they had little control over their own property? As concerns mounted, Alex sought clarification from the HOA representatives during the next community meeting. However, responses were often vague and left many questions unanswered. Instead of reassuring transparency, it felt as though the board was more interested in maintaining control rather than fostering an open dialogue about residents' rights and responsibilities. With each passing day, Alex became increasingly aware that many neighbors shared similar reservations about these hidden clauses in the HOA agreement. Conversations shifted from excitement about new amenities to worries about financial burdens and restrictions on personal freedom. The initial optimism surrounding the condo development was beginning to crack under the weight of these revelations. It was becoming clear that while the promise of community living was enticing, there lay beneath it a complex legal framework that could entrap unwitting homeowners in a web of obligations and limitations. As Alex continued to engage with fellow landowners and condo residents, it became evident that understanding this agreement was crucial not just for individual homeowners but for the future of their community as a whole. In this unfolding drama, what started as a collaborative vision for a thriving neighborhood was rapidly turning into a cautionary tale about overlooking important details in legal agreements. Details that would soon come to define their relationships with one another and their homes in ways they never anticipated. As the construction phase of the condo development commenced, excitement filled the air. Heavy machinery rumbled into action and work crews began to break ground on what many hoped would become a vibrant community. Alex watched with a mix of pride and apprehension as the initial stages unfolded. The vision was gradually shifting from blueprint to reality, but beneath the surface lay a growing sense of unease. In the early days, interactions with the HOA seemed promising. They provided regular updates and invited community members to offer input on design elements and shared amenities. However, as construction progressed, it became increasingly clear that the HOA's emphasis on efficiency often overshadowed the concerns of individual property owners. Decisions about landscaping, building materials, and even construction timelines were made without much input from Alex or other landowners who had once felt a part of the process. As weeks turned into months, Alex noticed that some aspects of the construction were not aligning with the original vision. For instance, the developers made choices regarding landscaping that felt out of place in the natural surroundings. Trees that had stood for decades were removed without adequate explanation, replaced by generic shrubbery that lacked character. Neighbors voiced their frustrations during community meetings, but the HOA board seemed dismissive of these concerns, prioritizing speed and cost over thoughtful integration with the environment. Moreover, as more condos began to take shape, issues related to noise and traffic emerged. Construction crews worked long hours, creating disturbances that disrupted the once peaceful atmosphere of the area. Complaints started circulating among residents about dust clouds that settled on neighboring properties and heavy machinery blocking access to roads. What was meant to be a harmonious addition to the neighborhood now felt like an unwelcome invasion. Despite these challenges, Alex remained hopeful that once construction wrapped up, residents would come together to form a tight-knit community. However, there was an underlying tension brewing between those who welcomed change and those who felt marginalized by it. The HOA's approach seemed to exacerbate these divisions. While they touted community engagement, many felt their voices were falling on deaf ears. During this time, Alex began to connect with other landowners who shared similar frustrations regarding the construction process. They convened informal gatherings to discuss their concerns about transparency and communication, or rather, the lack thereof, from the HOA. It became increasingly evident that while some residents were excited about moving into brand new condos with modern amenities, others were disillusioned by how decisions were being made without their input. As work progressed and completion dates drew closer, Alex felt a growing urgency to address these issues with the HOA before it was too late. The realization struck, these concerns were not merely about aesthetics or convenience, they touched upon fundamental rights as property owners and members of a community. The challenges faced during construction hinted at deeper problems within the HOA's governance and decision-making processes. With mounting frustration and a desire for change, Alex decided it was time to take action. It became clear that addressing grievances during this phase was crucial not just for individual peace of mind but for laying the groundwork for a more robust community once residents moved in. The stakes were high. What started as an exciting endeavor for growth now felt like a pivotal moment in determining whether their new community would thrive or become mired in conflict. Little did they know that soon enough, hidden legal traps within their agreements would further complicate matters ahead. As the construction of the condos approached completion, Alex began to feel a sense of unease about the HOA agreement that had initially seemed like a straightforward path to community living. It was during a casual conversation with a neighbor that the first hints of trouble arose. The neighbor, who had recently attended a HOA meeting, shared whispers about certain clauses that had gone largely unnoticed by many residents, clauses that were now raising red flags. Intrigued and increasingly concerned, Alex decided it was time to revisit the agreement once more. As they pored over the lengthy document, a particular section caught Alex's eye, a clause regarding maintenance assessments and financial obligations. The wording was dense and convoluted, but it became clear that the HOA possessed broad authority to levy special assessments at their discretion. This meant that if the HOA board decided an unexpected expense arose, like a major repair or enhancement of common areas, they could impose additional fees on all owners without any obligation to seek approval from the homeowners. A sinking feeling settled in as Alex realized how much power this gave the board. The implications of this clause were alarming. It meant that owners could be hit with unplanned financial burdens at any time, potentially jeopardizing their ability to afford their homes. What started as a promise of community living quickly morphed into a precarious situation where financial stability felt threatened. As Alex dug deeper into the agreement, more unsettling details emerged. There were restrictions on property resale that would limit homeowners' freedom when deciding to sell their units. The HOA retained the right of first refusal, which meant that before selling their condos to outsiders, owners had to offer them to the HOA first, often at a price determined by the board. This could delay sales significantly or lead to unfavorable offers, trapping homeowners in situations where they might need to relocate quickly due to personal or professional commitments. The realization hit hard. These legal traps were not just minor oversights, they represented an intricate web designed to entrap homeowners in obligations and limitations that undermined their autonomy. Alex began connecting with other residents who had also uncovered similar concerns. Discussions turned heated as they shared experiences of feeling misled by initial promises of transparency and community involvement. During one particularly tense meeting, Alex took a bold step and confronted the HOA board with these revelations. They questioned why such significant clauses had not been discussed openly during earlier meetings and pressed for clarification on how decisions would be made regarding financial assessments and property sales. The board's responses were evasive, filled with jargon that left many feeling frustrated and even more confused. As tension mounted, it became evident that trust was eroding within the community. What had once been perceived as an opportunity for growth now felt like a looming threat hanging over the heads of every condo owner. Residents began to realize they were part of an arrangement that could easily turn exploitative if left unchecked. With each new discovery, Alex found themselves more determined than ever to challenge these hidden traps within the HOA agreement. It was clear that understanding and addressing these issues was vital not only for personal security but also for preserving the integrity of their budding community. As frustration turned into resolve, Alex began rallying neighbors to prepare for what would undoubtedly become a pivotal battle for their rights as homeowners, a battle they never anticipated facing when they first envisioned this community together. As the unsettling realities of the HOA agreement began to surface, the community's response evolved from initial excitement to growing concern. Conversations shifted from visions of a harmonious neighborhood to heated discussions about the implications of hidden legal traps. Residents who once shared a common dream found themselves divided, grappling with feelings of betrayal and uncertainty. Alex, feeling the weight of responsibility, took it upon themselves to organize a community meeting to address these pressing issues. They understood that it was crucial for everyone to be informed and united in their concerns about the HOA's practices. Flyers were distributed and word spread quickly. Neighbors gathered in the community center, anxious yet hopeful that they could find clarity together. As the meeting commenced, Alex stood at the front, presenting their findings about the problematic clauses in the HOA agreement. The crowd listened intently as they laid out the potential consequences of special assessments, resale restrictions, and the overarching control wielded by the board. What had started as a few whispers among neighbors now transformed into a full-fledged discussion that resonated deeply with everyone present. Many residents expressed their frustrations openly. Some shared personal stories about financial worries and how unexpected assessments could impact their ability to stay in their homes. Others voiced concerns about feeling marginalized by decisions made in board meetings where they had little representation or voice. The atmosphere was charged, filled with a mix of anger and determination as people recognized that they were not alone in their struggles. As discussions continued, a sense of solidarity began to emerge. Neighbors who had been hesitant to speak up found courage in their shared experiences. Together, they brainstormed strategies for addressing their grievances with the HOA. Ideas ranged from drafting petitions to demanding more transparency in decision-making processes. It became clear that collective action was necessary if they were to reclaim their sense of agency within this new community. However, not all responses were positive. Some residents remained skeptical of taking any action against the HOA. They feared potential repercussions or believed that confronting the board might escalate tensions further. This divide highlighted an underlying challenge. While many recognized the need for change, others were paralyzed by fear or uncertainty about what standing up for their rights might entail. Recognizing this divide, Alex encouraged open dialogue during the meeting. They emphasized that addressing these issues wasn't just about individual grievances, it was about fostering a sense of community and ensuring that everyone felt heard and valued. By articulating a shared vision for a neighborhood that respected homeowners' rights and freedoms, Alex aimed to bridge gaps between differing opinions and galvanize support for collective action. In the days following the meeting, discussions continued on neighborhood forums and social media groups. A newfound energy permeated the community as residents began forming alliances based on trust and mutual respect. The desire for change began to outweigh fears. People rallied around Alex's lead, ready to challenge the HOA's authority and demand accountability. As momentum built, residents prepared for what lay ahead, a potentially arduous journey toward reforming HOA practices that had initially promised community but now threatened to fracture it. Together, they resolved not only to confront their challenges head-on but also to redefine what it meant to be part of this new neighborhood, a place where every voice mattered and every homeowner had a stake in shaping their future. As the community rallied together to confront the challenges posed by the HOA, Alex knew that navigating the complexities of their situation would require more than just collective resolve. It was clear that they needed professional guidance to fully understand their rights and the implications of the HOA agreement. With this in mind, Alex began seeking legal counsel, hoping to uncover the best strategies for addressing the issues they faced. After researching local attorneys who specialized in real estate and HOA disputes, Alex found a firm that came highly recommended by a neighbor. The attorney, Sarah, had extensive experience dealing with similar cases and was known for her straightforward approach. Alex felt a sense of relief as they scheduled a consultation, believing that expert legal advice could illuminate a path forward. During the initial meeting, Alex laid out all their concerns regarding the hidden clauses within the HOA agreement. They explained how these clauses threaten homeowners' financial stability and autonomy. Sarah listened intently, taking notes and asking insightful questions to grasp the full scope of the situation. As she reviewed the agreement, her expression shifted from curiosity to concern. "This is quite serious," Sarah remarked. "The clauses you've mentioned are not uncommon in HOA agreements, but they can be very problematic for homeowners. The potential for special assessments, especially without owner consent, can lead to significant financial strain." She elaborated on how many homeowners had been caught off guard by similar provisions in other communities, often leading to disputes that required legal intervention. As she spoke, Alex felt a mix of anxiety and determination. It was becoming clear that they were far from alone in facing these challenges. Sarah then explained their options moving forward. "First and foremost, we need to gather as much information as possible from other residents. It's crucial to understand if others have experienced similar issues or have additional grievances." She suggested organizing a meeting where she could address residents directly, explaining their rights and laying out potential legal steps they could take as a collective. The prospect of legal action felt daunting, but Sarah reassured Alex that they wouldn't have to navigate this journey alone. "We can explore mediation with the HOA first," she advised. "This approach can sometimes lead to quicker resolutions without escalating to litigation. If that doesn't work, we can proceed with more formal actions." Encouraged by Sarah's guidance and expertise, Alex returned to the community energized and ready to share what they had learned. At the next neighborhood gathering, they detailed their meeting with Sarah and emphasized the importance of uniting under a common cause. The reaction from residents was overwhelmingly supportive. Many expressed relief at having professional guidance and were eager to participate in discussions about their rights as homeowners. They realized that taking informed legal action could empower them to reclaim control over their community. Alex organized another meeting with Sarah where residents could ask questions and voice their concerns directly. This event attracted even more participants than before. Neighbors who had previously been hesitant now felt compelled to engage actively in protecting their rights. As residents shared their stories and frustrations during this meeting, it became evident that many had been quietly grappling with similar feelings of uncertainty and fear regarding their investments. With Sarah's expertise guiding them, they began to formulate a strategy for addressing both immediate concerns and long-term goals for improving governance within the HOA. With legal counsel backing them up, Alex felt a renewed sense of purpose. The path ahead was still fraught with challenges, but now they were armed with knowledge and support, a critical step toward ensuring that their community would thrive on principles of fairness, transparency, and mutual respect. The fight for homeowners' rights was only just beginning, but together they were ready to confront whatever lay ahead. With legal counsel at their side and a united community behind them, the time had come for Alex and the homeowners to confront the HOA head-on. The mounting frustrations regarding hidden clauses in the agreement, financial burdens, and restrictive policies had reached a boiling point. They were determined to demand accountability from the board, and the stakes could not have been higher. The first major confrontation occurred during a scheduled HOA meeting where residents were invited to voice their grievances directly to the board. Armed with notes from their consultations with Sarah, Alex prepared a presentation that outlined their key concerns, focusing on the most egregious clauses in the agreement. The atmosphere in the room was charged with anticipation as residents gathered, each person eager to express their frustrations and demands. As the meeting commenced, Alex stood up to speak. "We appreciate all the hard work that goes into managing our community," they began, feeling both anxious and resolute. "However, we must address serious issues within our HOA agreement that threaten our financial security and rights as homeowners." Throughout their presentation, Alex recounted specifics about special assessments that could be levied without consent and the right of first refusal that forced owners to sell back to the HOA before seeking outside buyers. The crowd listened intently, nodding in agreement as Alex articulated their shared concerns. However, as soon as Alex finished speaking, the board members' responses reflected a defensive posture. The president of the HOA dismissed many of Alex's points as misunderstandings or exaggerated concerns. "These agreements are standard practice," he insisted. "We're committed to maintaining property values and ensuring quality living conditions for everyone." But this time, the residents were ready. Voices rose in unison as neighbors began sharing their own experiences with unexpected fees and restrictions they had encountered since moving in. It became clear that Alex was not alone in feeling misled. Several residents echoed similar sentiments regarding how decisions were made without proper communication or transparency from the board. As tensions escalated, it became evident that this confrontation was not merely about specific clauses, it was also about respect and recognition within their own community. Many residents expressed their desire for more involvement in decisions impacting their homes and lives. The board's apparent disregard for homeowner concerns fueled further frustration among those present. In response to these mounting grievances, Sarah, their attorney, had prepared a proposal for mediation. After witnessing the heated exchange during the meeting, she suggested they formally request a mediation session where an impartial third party could facilitate discussions between homeowners and the HOA. This proposal ignited fresh energy among residents who were eager to take action but felt uncertain about potential repercussions of direct confrontation. They rallied around the idea of mediation as a way to address grievances constructively while still preserving relationships within their community. The request for mediation was submitted promptly after the meeting, and soon afterward, a date was scheduled for discussions between representatives from both sides. However, even as this next step loomed ahead, many homeowners remained apprehensive about how the HOA would respond. In preparation for mediation, Alex worked tirelessly alongside Sarah to gather additional documentation detailing specific incidents where homeowners had faced challenges due to unclear or unfair policies. They believed that solid evidence would strengthen their position during negotiations. As mediation day approached, anxiety mixed with hope filled the air. The community stood at a crossroads. This was an opportunity to redefine their relationship with the HOA while asserting their rights as homeowners. Uniting under shared goals and determination gave them strength. They were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead in this battle for transparency and fairness within their community. A battle they never anticipated, but one that was now impossible to ignore. As the mediation date approached, Alex recognized that their strength lay not only in the evidence they had collected but also in the unity of the community. To bolster their position, they understood the importance of building alliances not just among fellow condo owners but also with local organizations and experts who could lend their support. With this goal in mind, Alex began reaching out to neighboring communities that had faced similar challenges with their own HOAs. They discovered a network of residents who had successfully advocated for change, and many were willing to share their experiences, insights, and strategies. These connections provided invaluable resources and encouraged Alex that they were not alone in this fight. One of the first alliances formed was with a local advocacy group focused on homeowners' rights. This nonprofit organization had a wealth of experience in navigating HOA disputes and offered to host a workshop for residents. At this event, members of the community learned about their legal rights as homeowners, strategies for effective communication with HOA boards, and the importance of documenting grievances. The workshop empowered attendees, equipping them with knowledge that would bolster their confidence heading into mediation. In addition to seeking external support, Alex worked diligently to strengthen bonds within their own community. They organized informal gatherings where residents could share personal stories about their experiences with the HOA. These conversations revealed not only shared frustrations but also common goals for a more transparent and accountable board. Through these gatherings, friendships blossomed and neighbors began to view each other not just as fellow homeowners but as allies in a collective struggle. Recognizing the power of collective action, Alex initiated a campaign to gather signatures on a petition that outlined specific changes residents wanted to see within the HOA. This petition would serve as both a formal request during mediation and a demonstration of solidarity among homeowners. As word spread, more residents stepped forward to support the cause. It was clear that many were eager for change but had been uncertain about how to take action. The day before mediation, Alex compiled the signatures along with testimonials from residents expressing their concerns. The petition became a tangible representation of the community's commitment to advocating for their rights. It was not just a document, it was a declaration of unity and determination. On the day of mediation, as Alex and Sarah prepared to present their case, they felt a renewed sense of confidence bolstered by the support of their neighbors. The room was filled with familiar faces, friends who had rallied around a shared cause, ready to stand together in pursuit of fairness and transparency. During mediation, Alex highlighted not only the specific issues within the HOA agreement but also emphasized how these issues affected the overall sense of community. "We're not just fighting for ourselves," Alex stated passionately. "We're advocating for a neighborhood where everyone feels heard and respected. We believe in creating an environment where decisions are made collaboratively." This sentiment resonated deeply within the mediation room, creating an atmosphere where constructive dialogue could thrive. The HOA representatives seemed taken aback by the united front presented by Alex and the other homeowners. They clearly underestimated the strength that comes from solidarity. As discussions continued throughout the day, it became apparent that building alliances had shifted the narrative. The HOA board members were no longer facing isolated voices but rather a coalition of engaged residents demanding change. Together, they began exploring solutions that could address homeowner concerns while still allowing the HOA to function effectively. The groundwork laid through these alliances would have lasting effects beyond mediation. It planted seeds for ongoing collaboration between homeowners and the board. As they moved forward from this pivotal moment, it became clear that unity among residents was not just essential for this battle but would be crucial in fostering a thriving community culture long after the dust settled on their immediate challenges. Together, they were ready to redefine what it meant to live in harmony, one built on respect, transparency, and shared responsibility. As mediation drew to a close, it became evident that the conversations had sparked some initial willingness from the HOA to address homeowner concerns. However, the board remained reluctant to make substantial changes, believing that their existing practices were adequate. Frustration simmered among residents. While progress had been made, it was clear that the issues at hand required more than just surface-level adjustments. For many homeowners, this was not merely a negotiation, it was a matter of principle that demanded further action. In light of the HOA's resistance, Alex and the residents made the difficult decision to escalate their fight. They knew that if they wanted real change, they would have to take legal action. With Sarah's guidance, they prepared for what would be a challenging legal showdown against the HOA, one that would test their resolve and commitment to securing their rights as homeowners. The legal process began with a formal complaint filed against the HOA detailing the problematic clauses in the agreement and the board's failure to communicate transparently with residents. Alex felt both anxious and empowered as they signed their name on legal documents that could potentially reshape their community's future. This step represented not just their fight but also that of every homeowner who felt trapped by unfair policies. As word spread about the impending lawsuit, reactions within the community were mixed. Many residents rallied around Alex, recognizing this as a crucial moment in their struggle for homeowners' rights. Others, however, expressed concern about potential backlash from the HOA or fear of escalating tensions further. Navigating these differing opinions required careful communication and reassurances from Alex about the necessity of standing firm in pursuit of justice. The courtroom date arrived, and with it came an air of tension and anticipation. Residents gathered outside the courthouse, united in solidarity as they prepared to face off against the HOA. Armed with evidence compiled during months of research and conversations with neighbors, Alex felt a sense of purpose wash over them. This was no longer just about them, it had grown into a movement aimed at protecting homeowners' rights for everyone within their community. As they entered the courtroom, Alex took a deep breath, feeling both exhilarated and nervous. The atmosphere inside was charged, every seat was filled with supporters eager to witness this pivotal moment unfold. When the proceedings began, Sarah expertly presented their case, outlining how the HOA's practices had violated homeowners' rights and created an untenable living situation. As arguments unfolded, Alex listened intently as Sarah dissected each problematic clause in the agreement. She emphasized how these provisions not only jeopardized financial stability but also undermined trust among neighbors who were striving for a vibrant community spirit. The judge seemed engaged, asking pointed questions that indicated an understanding of both sides' positions. However, as expected, representatives from the HOA defended their practices vehemently. They argued that their policies were necessary for maintaining property values and ensuring quality living conditions for all residents. But as testimonies from fellow homeowners began to take center stage, it became clear that personal stories resonated more deeply than dry statistics or legal jargon. Residents spoke passionately about their experiences, how unexpected fees had impacted their ability to budget, and how restrictive policies stifled their sense of belonging within what should have been a welcoming community. Each account reinforced the core message. These were not just contractual obligations, they were real-life consequences affecting families' lives. After hours of arguments and emotional testimonies, both sides awaited the judge's ruling. In those tense moments, it became apparent that this battle was not just about winning or losing, it was about standing up for one's rights and advocating for fairness in a system that often favored authority over individual voices. As they left the courtroom that day, regardless of what lay ahead, Alex felt empowered by the knowledge that they had taken a stand alongside their neighbors. The fight against an entrenched system had become more than just a legal battle, it was now a testament to what community spirit could achieve when individuals banded together to advocate for change. The outcome remained uncertain, but one thing was clear: they would continue fighting until justice prevailed in their community. After weeks of anticipation, the judge's ruling finally arrived and the community gathered in a mix of hope and trepidation. The moment felt surreal as Alex stood alongside their neighbors, all sharing a collective breath as they awaited the verdict. The judge entered the room and silence enveloped them. As the ruling was announced, a wave of emotions flooded through the room. The judge found in favor of the homeowners, recognizing that the HOA's practices had indeed undermined residents' rights and failed to maintain transparent communication. There would be changes mandated in how the HOA operated, including a requirement for regular meetings that allowed for homeowner input and oversight on financial decisions. Cheers erupted from the gathered residents as relief washed over them. They had embarked on this journey filled with uncertainty, yet here they stood, victorious in their fight for justice. This ruling was more than just a legal win, it symbolized a newfound sense of empowerment within the community. It was an affirmation that their voices mattered and that collective action could lead to meaningful change. In the aftermath of the ruling, Alex took time to reflect on the lessons learned throughout this tumultuous journey. First and foremost was the importance of unity. They realized that standing together not only amplified their voices but also fostered deeper connections among neighbors. What began as individual concerns evolved into a powerful coalition that transformed their community dynamic. Communication emerged as another critical lesson. Open dialogue among residents was essential for identifying shared grievances and building trust. By encouraging everyone to voice their concerns early on, they were able to prevent misunderstandings and bolster their collective strength when it came time to confront the HOA. Seeking legal counsel proved invaluable, emphasizing the need for professional guidance when navigating complex agreements. Sarah's expertise not only clarified their rights but also provided strategic direction in addressing issues effectively. Alex understood now that being informed was crucial. Knowledge could empower homeowners to challenge unfair practices confidently. The experience also highlighted the significance of accountability, both from individual homeowners and from governing bodies like HOAs. The judge's ruling underscored that those in positions of authority must remain transparent and responsive to the needs of the community they serve. As new guidelines were implemented in response to the ruling, it became clear that ongoing vigilance would be necessary to ensure adherence to these changes. Perhaps one of the most profound realizations was recognizing that advocacy doesn't end with one victory. It is an ongoing commitment to nurturing a healthy community environment where residents feel valued and engaged. Alex made it a priority to establish regular meetings where homeowners could discuss concerns or suggestions openly, creating a space where everyone felt heard. As weeks turned into months following the ruling, Alex saw a shift in their neighborhood culture. Residents became more involved, attending meetings regularly and participating in discussions about future developments within their community. The sense of belonging grew stronger as neighbors collaborated on projects aimed at enhancing shared spaces and fostering camaraderie. Ultimately, this journey transformed not just Alex's understanding of homeownership but also shaped a community ethos centered around empowerment, collaboration, and continuous improvement. The battle against hidden legal traps had turned into a powerful narrative about resilience and unity. Looking back, Alex felt gratitude for every challenge faced along the way. The hidden clauses in the HOA agreement had sparked an unexpected awakening, one that ignited passion for ensuring fairness and transparency within their community. With lessons learned and bonds strengthened, they stood ready to embrace whatever lay ahead, confident in their ability to advocate for themselves and each other as they built a brighter future together.